What's up guys, Vegas here, and if you've never heard this story before, this is how I got banned from Venmo. So it started out with me finding this gambling website, and for the sake of my future endeavors, I won't name drop it, but it's a site that would constantly pop up when trying to watch naked people wrestle. But I was on my way to becoming the gambling addict I am now, and put $200 in. I was playing some 3-card poker, and actually started winning, and believe me, I was hitting that shit like a Marvin on Apex. And at some point, I made a literal grand. And I could have gotten it mailed to me safely, but I wanted that shit then and there. So I went through Venmo because they offered it. Now, it was kind of sus because I took the $1,000 and put it into this third-party website, which then would take the money and send it to me on Venmo in increments of anywhere between $50 to $300 at a time. But it was fine. I pulled my money out of Venmo, and I was high on life. Next week rolls around, and I left $200 in the account, so I decided, let's run this again. And the heater was still on, baby. Hitting those bonuses like there's no tomorrow, and in no time I make another grand. And so I go through the same process again, and well, this time there's a slight issue. I get an email from the higher ups of Venmo saying, you can't be doing this. You broke the rules or terms of agreements of section whatever the fuck, with a bunch of numbers like it's the sauce for a goddamn hentai. And so for once I go and check these rules, and I'm like, this shit literally says nothing about robbing the casino. So I'm confused, and so I go around asking what I did wrong, and dude says the same thing, and that there's nothing that can be done and my account's gonna be frozen. Now, after explaining to the boys the situation, we came to the conclusion that Venmo thought I was money laundering, which obviously wasn't the case, but I couldn't really fight it considering my age at the time, even though this was all technically legal, it just looked really sus. So whenever I go back to that site, I would just get the check delivered, and to this day, probably 3-4 years later, I'm still banned on Venmo.
But you best believe, I got my fucking money.